Marconi. Experts say you should seek shelter in a house during an electrical storm, but if the house is protecting you, what's protecting the house? A Dundas company has the answer in tonight's Doing Business segment. That's coming up after the break.
With Heather Hiscox.
That way tonight. As we turn to doing business for this week, the deaths of two men in Bronte Creek Provincial Park had us talking a lot this week about lightning and its lethal power. We looked into how to ensure your personal safety this week. Tonight, though, how to protect your personal property. A Dundas company makes a device that can prevent the electrical appliances in your home from being destroyed by lightning or any other power surge. CH's Natalie Marconi now has more on CleanVolt in this week's edition of Doing Business.
This is the type of destruction we usually associate with lightning. But when a tree falls on a power line or lightning strikes a hydro pole directly, the damage can be much more extensive.
When I moved into a new home, the very first week I was in it, lightning struck a neighbor's tree and it actually blew out my electrical panel.
It's a costly problem that strikes about 3 homes in the Hamilton area every time there's a severe storm. And according to Hamilton Hydro, modern technology has made us even more susceptible to damage.
What's changed is the equipment that we use today and the sensitivity. More and more of the world is being run by a computer chip, and that's very sensitive to variations in voltage on the utility system.
That's where this new device comes into play. It's called CleanVolt, and it's installed on your electrical panel.
What our unit will do is detect those spikes and surges and shunt them off to ground.
The device cleans the electricity coming into your home because it won't allow any more than 130 volts to pass through the electrical panel. That's only 10 volts more than you usually use. But major power surges happen often, rain or shine, and usually at the least convenient times.
The transformer at the corner blew. It sent a surge into our house that blew the oven. So Thanksgiving Day, the wife has a turkey already and no oven.
This is the damaged oven component that the makers of CleanVolt say their product could have saved. And by protecting against electrical overload, most electronics will work better in general.
Every time my microwave went off, my computer would freeze up, so I knew there was some sort of electrical problem.
The unit itself costs $600 plus installation, but it could potentially save thousands of dollars worth of electronics in your home or business. Now, CleanVolt also comes with a lifetime warranty, and it can be reinstalled if you decide to move, so it's an investment in your home that you can take with you.
And what's the difference, Nat, between this device and a surge bar? I thought that protects appliances from being zapped by lightning.
Well, Heather, a lot of people think that, but you have to be very careful. You have to look at the packaging and make sure. Now, a surge bar is what they call a suppressor. Now, suppressors, they can take a power surge, but not to the extent of a lightning bolt. CleanVolt is called an arrestor, and arrestors can take the power of a lightning bolt. What you should do is when you're buying a surge bar or something like that, if it says it is a suppressor, usually if they get struck by lightning, the actual unit will be fried and the appliance it's hooked up to won't necessarily be protected.
You've heard it from your electric company. It's recommended that all business and homeowners protect their electrical and electronic equipment with a spike surge protector. The reason for this statement is certainly clear to the electric companies. Dirty power. In the last 40 years, there's been a sharp increase in electrical pollution. Power quality is suffering due to the fact more population is connected to the same power source. Grids are getting larger, and there's more switching being done by the utilities, causing spikes and surges to travel for miles before ending up in your home or business. Now, with the explosion of digital and electronic equipment installed in just about everything we purchase, 60% of electrical pollution is created by consumers of electricity themselves. 15 years ago, how many TVs, VCRs, microwaves, or computers were in the average home compared with today? These sensitive electronic devices are major manufacturers of damaging spikes, surges, transients, and harmonics. These disturbances create a heating effect in the wiring of your building, causing equipment to work harder to overcome the electrical resistance that these disturbances create. This then leads to more power consumed to do the same work. It's like walking into a headwind. your muscles must work harder to overcome the wind resistance, which in turn makes your body consume more fuel and make your body tired sooner. Weather disturbances also contribute to the damage and disruption of your electrical system. Lightning, one of the most destructive forces on the planet, causes massive power surges and spikes. These alone can cost you thousands of dollars in equipment repair or replacement. You need protection. MIM Business Solutions has produced the next generation of lightning arresters that protect the entire building from lightning, spikes, surges, transients, and reduces the harmonic effect. CleanVolt is not TVSS technology, transient voltage surge suppressor, or MOV technology. TVSS is not rated for lightning and uses 1 to 10 amp internal fuses to protect their components. MOVs have a limited lifespan. They slowly break down after being surged and spiked, so after 5 to 10 years, you may need to replace them. CleanVolt is a lightning arrestor first. Tested and passed ANSI IEEE standard C62.1 for secondary surge arrestor, exceeds test requirements and is in compliance with CSA standard C22.2. CleanVolt's patented GSC technology has a lifespan of up to 100 years and does not use any internal fuses to protect their components. CleanVolt is there to protect your electrical system. Added benefits: it removes transients, EMI and RFI noise, reduces the harmonics effect, cleans power supply of spikes and surges, and has the ability to dissipate heat. CleanVolt clamps at 130 volts, at speeds of less than a nanosecond. All this with a lifetime warranty. As a result of using this new technology, your electrical and electronic components will last up to 32% longer and run more efficiently. Other benefits is a reduction in power consumption of up to 20% and a reduction in maintenance cost and production downtime. This is the most cost-effective total protection from lightning and electrical disturbances available on the market today. The CleanVolt CVR unit is designed for the homeowner or developer and can handle up to 400 amps of service. The CVR provides automatic protection for your electrical system. How does it work? The CleanVolt CVR unit is hardwired to your circuit breaker panel. Every time a motor switches on or off, say your refrigerator, furnace, or air conditioner, or someone completes a task as small as turning on the lights or hitting a computer keyboard key, spikes, surges, and transients are created. They travel along the wiring back to the breaker panel. At this point, the CleanVolt unit will reach out, grab, and shunt to ground any and all damaging transient voltage surges and spikes. Smart homes are the talk of the town these days. Everything is going electronic to make our lives even easier and more simplified. As a homeowner or developer, you must keep in mind that the electrical system of new homes today are now more than ever susceptible to damaging electrical disturbances at any time. This also includes the most destructive force, lightning. And if proper protection is not put in place, these devices can be destroyed. Very important. CleanVolt is an intelligent device and has the ability to see and pass lightning. Unlike the competitor units we've come across, these other units are rated just for surges and spikes, not lightning strikes or massive power surges. Although they market their products as if they were rated for lightning, their fine print tells a different story. Only CleanVolt gives you peace of mind and total protection for life. Is CleanVolt by contacting the person who gave you this presentation CD or by dialing 905-628-2828 and mention the ID number on your CD. Remember, we accept Visa, MasterCard, or check. We also have an easy no-money down payment plan, so start saving before you pay. CleanVolt. Lightning, spike, and surge arrestor. 8 things to remember about CleanVolt. Total protection from lightning strikes. Removes damaging voltage spikes and surges. Reacts in less than 1 nanosecond, 1/1000th of a second, with 6-inch leads or less. Ability to reduce harmonic effect and dissipate heat, harmonics and transient noises. Clamps at 130 volts or 10% above the rated voltage coming in at your electrical service. Comes with lifetime product warranty. Your electrical and electronic components will last up to 32% longer and run more efficiently. Other benefits is a reduction in power consumption of up to 20%. Speed, clamping, heat dissipation. These will be the buzzwords of the 21st century when it comes to total protection for your electrical system. Without these 3 elements working at their maximum, you won't be able to reduce the amount of power you consume, and you will not be able to totally protect your valuable electronics, and you'll be replacing them long before their time. Only CleanVolt gives you peace of mind and total protection for life. Why buy an inferior product over and over again when you can buy it once and do it right the first time? CleanVolt. Lightning, spike, and surge arrestor. If you're not using a CleanVolt, what's protecting your home or business?
Hello, my name's Frank Hack. Utilities and insurance companies are telling us, please get proper spike surge protection in place. Why is this? Insurance companies' claims have gone through the roof, and for most part, power utility companies can no longer guarantee us proper power qualities because of the demands that we consumers are placing upon them. What is power quality? Power quality is how much power pollution we have in our electrical system. What causes power pollution? There are 2 major components of power pollution. Number 1 is weather and the utilities themselves. They create 20% of our power pollution problem. It's in the form of lightning, it's in the form of fog, wind, rain, snow. That's weather. Utilities, every time they do switching to make sure that our power grids are as balanced as they possibly be, and also the pieces of equipment that they have in their system, make sure our voltage is as constant as it can be. The more of this that happens, the more power quality problems we have, power pollution. This 20% can be the most catastrophic. This is the 20% that's really hitting the insurance companies. The other 80% of power quality problems or power pollution is caused by us. It's caused by how we use the electricity that the power utility companies supply us. Good example of power pollution. You have a friend down the street that uses his skill saw, and you're watching TV and you see the lines go across your TV. That's power pollution. That's being caused by someone else. So as you can see, your neighbors affect what you do as well. So a quick breakdown once again. 1, we have weather and utilities, 20%. 2, another 20% is caused by your neighbors. 3, 60% of power pollution or poor power quality is caused by us, yourself. What you do in your own building. They're telling us to get proper protection. What is proper protection? I'm going to draw here what we call a voltage, AC voltage sine wave. This black line represents the power cable coming into your home or your business. This is the voltage that rides on that power cable. This is what the utilities supply us with. Your computers, your TVs, majority of your lighting, motors, compressors, run on 120 volts. Electric stoves, electric water heaters, electric dryers run on 240 volts. When you look at those pieces of equipment that run on 120 volts, it says on the back of them, 120 volts maximum. That's how they're built. They're built to operate at 120 volts. I ask people, would you plug your computer into your stove receptacle? Of course not. It would fry it in a heartbeat. A typical voltage spike produced by the utility or weather, or even within your own building, could easily be 1,000 volts. So without any protection in place, you're letting a 1,000 volt spike hit that 120 volt computer. We just determined that you would not plug it into your stove receptacle. Why are you allowing it to hit not only your stove, but everything that's plugged in at 120 volts? What do we need? We need protection. We need to be able to reduce this voltage spike so it doesn't affect anything that is plugged into the building. Most products on the market today clamp or clip off this voltage spike starting at 330 volts. You've already determined you would not plug in your computer into your stove receptacle. Why would you buy something that does not reduce this spike effect until 330 volts? And this could be happening every second of every minute of every hour of every day, quite easily. By law, no component of the market can start clipping or clamping a voltage operating at 120 volts any closer than 130 volts. That's the type of protection that we need. Not starting at 330, starting at 130 volts. Now we're talking protection, the type of protection that the utilities and insurance companies are telling us to get. Number two, voltage spikes and surges not only rise on the sine wave, they also are fast. They have a speed component with them. A voltage spike travels as fast as 50 microseconds. What is a microsecond? A microsecond is 1/1,000,000th of a second. So what do we need? We need a unit that can see the speed of this voltage spike. 95% of products on the market today that clamp 330 volts or above have a speed of 1 millisecond. What is a millisecond? 1,000th of a second. Even if it could clamp it, if it can't see it, it can't clamp it. 95% of the products on the market are exactly like this. So what we need, of course, is a unit that will clamp starting at 130 volts and have a speed in excess of 1/1,000,000th of a second. We call this a microsecond. That is what we need to at least afford proper spike surge protection. You also need a unit that can protect you from lightning and power-induced sustained overvoltages. And that comes from the utilities. Now we all know what lightning can do, but what is a sustained overvoltage? A sustained overvoltage is like someone hitting a transformer pole down the street. It's a long-term overvoltage. It's caused by a direct short in the electrical system. Utilities have components to protect their components on the transformer pole. By the time that they react on a sustained over voltage situation, as much as 800 volts for a long period of time could enter your building through your electrical system. 95% of the units on the market today are called transient voltage surge suppressors. They start clamping at 330 volts. They react in milliseconds. They are not rated for lightning, and they cannot handle a sustained over voltage. Once again, they're telling us to get proper spike surge protection. Our product, CleanVolt, is totally different from everyone else's. Number one, it is rated, certified, and tested to handle and dissipate lightning and survive. It is also rated, listed, and certified to be able to handle a sustained overvoltage to protect your total electrical system. Where do you put CleanVolt? CleanVolt is not plugged into your wall socket. CleanVolt is installed at your main power panel where all excellent protection should begin. CleanVolt not only cleans the hydro coming in, but it being that it's bi-directional, it also cleans any voltage anomalies that you create within your building. Anything that comes back to the panel that CleanVolt is hooked up to, it will clean before it can affect another piece of equipment. And that includes your neighbors. What makes CleanVolt so effective? Transient voltage surge suppressors use what we call metal oxide technology. Metal oxide technology breaks down. It is a known fact, it's a proven fact. This is why you will see anywhere from 2 to 10-year warranties on any of the products that are on the market, because they know their units, depending on how much of their technology they have installed, will allow them to last. Number two, transient voltage surge suppressors contain fuses. These fuses protect their equipment from sustained overvoltages and from lightning. I ask you, why would you put something in that needs to be protected from the very thing that you need to be protected from? In no way, if they have fuses, can they pass as a secondary surge arrestor or a lightning spike surge arrestor. CleanVolt, on the other hand, we use silicon carbide based technology. Our units are designed under normal operating conditions to last 100 years. They're designed to protect you from the catastrophic events of sustained overvoltages and lightning strikes. That is why we can give you a lifetime, no question asked warranty. Should our unit fail for any reason, and it will fail protecting your building, we will replace the original purchased unit. No questions asked. Just send it back, and we will replace it. So now, with the proper spike surge protection in place, what else causes power pollution? We cause it by EMI, we cause it by RFI, and we cause it by harmonics. These are all produced by us, for the most part. EMI. transformers. That means that little adapter you have plugged in for that cordless adapter, that's a little transformer in there. Creates EMI. A motor, any motor you have in your facility creates EMI. Compressors create EMI. What creates RFI? Bad connections. Connections that heat up, they're sparking, they're arcing across, causes RFI. It causes static. You can hear it on your TV, you can hear it in your radios. It's electrical RFI. Harmonics. Here's a big word. Electronics. Create harmonics. Put all these three into your electrical system. It creates a heating effect. It puts everything under stress. And as you know, the more stress you're under, you get tired faster. And if you're under constant stress, you're not going to last as long. That's what these do to every piece of equipment you have plugged in and operating. So what happens when everything is under stress? It works harder. And like us, if we have to work harder, we have to consume more energy to be able to work that hard. Now, if we didn't have to work hard, we'd only consume the amount of energy our bodies require just standing there. Your electrical system is the same way. This is your power panel. You want to put your protection where your power comes in. You want to reduce any effect from outside. You also want to reduce any effect coming back to your panel. You want to reduce the stress level of your electrical system. What does this do? It is a proven fact that with proper spike surge protection in place, your equipment will last up to 32% longer. Your lighting will last longer, run more efficiently. Your motors will run cooler, more efficiently. Everything will last longer. And when everything is running efficiently and is not under stress, what does it tend to do? It tends to consume the energy that is required to do the job they were designed to do, not do the job under stress. When they're doing the job under stress, they will, of course, consume more energy. So, what does that tell you? An efficient electrical system runs better, lasts longer, and consumes the energy it's supposed to. Efficiency. Clean Bolt increases the electrical efficiency of your entire building. So, now I will introduce Clean Bolt. We have 4 units here in front of you. These are our most common units that most people will use. Number 1 is our CBR. It is a residential use for homes. Each one of these units are good for every 400 amp worth of capacity that you have coming into your building. 120, 240 volts, single phase. The CB1, 120, 240 volts, single phase, commercial. It is used for things like small variety stores where there is a lot of activity. This is strict, CBR is strictly residential. Anything commercial, including a large home office, requires a CB1. We have a CB2. It is a 120, 208. You will see this in commercial and industrial applications. It is good for every 800 amp worth of service. I'll digress here. Our CB1 is good for every 600 amp worth of service. And we also have a CBS. It's a single 120 volt model. It is for circuits that have very, very sensitive electronics hooked up to them. Used a lot in agriculture, very much in industry where they have standalone machines and they want to protect their electronics on those standalone machines. This is what this unit is good for. They are all, first and foremost, lightning spike surge arresters. They reduce EMI, they reduce RFI, and they reduce the harmonic effect effectively. Clean Bolt increases the electrical efficiency of your entire electrical system. I hope that this presentation has enlightened you somewhat on the problems that we do have. Should you have any other questions, please feel free to phone the office at 905-628-2828 and ask for Ken or Frank, and we'd be more than pleased to answer any more of your questions and send you any literature that you require. Other than that, have a great day. The information we're about to show you here is a typical installation of a CleanVolt residential unit. The panel that's in front of you right now is basically what you will see in normal residential situations, although you may see the same type of configuration in a commercial or even an industrial application as well. This panel here happens to be a 120/240 volt system. And how can you tell that? Normally what you do is you just open up your panel and you locate your main breaker. And in this situation here, it says here, service disconnect, main disconnect. This would be your main breaker. As you can tell, there's 2 poles here, which means that it's single phase. There's only 2 live phases. If it were a 3-phase, you would see a 3rd piece of breaker here. In other words, you might see this many breakers all with the same tie bar. But normally where you see that, and only you would see that in commercial industrial applications, you will not see that in a residential application. You will see this configuration here. So, first of all, this information that I'm going to be giving you is for the agents as well as the electricians to show them how to properly install a CleanVolt unit, which is not a, once again, we are not a transient voltage surge suppressor, we are a lightning arrestor. So first of all, you're the agent, you walk into the home, you identify where the main panel is coming in. So, once you've determined that, you determine that yes, it needs 1 CVR, and most of them will only need 1 CVR. The electrician comes in and, okay, starts taking off the panel. And I'm just going to be moving out of your picture here to take off the panel cover. I know you don't like to see the back of my head too much, but hey. Also, this panel is mounted horizontally. In some situations, you may see the panel mounted vertically. It's the same thing, it's just the way that the electrician has put the panel in. Electricity can flow uphill, downhill. It flows any which way it wants as long as it has a wire to follow. Okay, so I've taken off the cover. I'll step out of the picture here once again. And this is what the inside of a panel looks like. These are all your branch breakers here, okay? Each one of them controls a circuit. You may have a split receptacle, your stove. Over here is your dryer. This happens to be the air conditioner. And then you have all small 15-amp circuits which controls your bedrooms and lights and whatnot within your within the house. Now, in this situation here, this here is a ground bar. This is where all the ground wires go to. Okay, these 2 bars here are what we call your neutral. And when we say we need a well-grounded neutral, this is what has to be well-grounded. You have a neutral that comes in from the utility, that's your hydro company, okay, which comes in through the main service, and also there's a ground wire which is associated with it, which goes either to, in the city it goes to the water system, and in the country it may go to ground plates or ground rods. But that way the neutral is grounded at the point of entrance where the service comes in. So here we have to identify where we can find a double pole breaker. And of course the CleanVolt can be put on up to a 20-amp breaker. Identified here we have a 40, we have a couple of 30s, we have 15 double poles, so therefore the 30s and the 40s are too big. So here, there's a 15-amp double pole breaker sitting right here. Now you also want to make sure that that 15-amp double pole breaker is as close to the main breaker as possible. And why is that? That's when lightning comes in, okay, the unit's hooked here, it's going to be diverted quickly right away to the unit so they can get rid of it to the neutral ground. That's why it's imperative with CleanVolt to mount the breaker as close to the main service coming in so it can catch all the outside anomalies that are coming in. So what do? First off, here we locate, under here, we have knockouts. And first of all, the electrician will take out this knockout, and this one happens to be a 1/2-inch knockout. I've removed that. Now, of course, with the CleanVolt unit, we have to introduce a 3/4-inch hole. Now, this is why electricians should be and must be installing these units, because CleanVolt has no fusing, interior fusing, so it's relying on the breaker as its actual disconnect when it actually does destruct, if it should destruct, under a severe lightning strike or sustained overvoltage from the utility. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to punch a 3/4 inch hole into the panel. And it should be done with a punch, and electricians, please use a punch. Do not use a hole saw or a uni-bit drill. We want to have a perfect hole because of the way that the clean bolt is mounted into the system. Now, I will get my little wrench out here, and I will cut the hole. And this should be interesting for people that have never seen one of these, but for those who have seen one, of course, they know what it's all about. The installation of the clean bolt is relatively simple. It is not that time consuming. Depending on where the unit has to be installed, and in this situation we're lucky we're able to install it so we don't have to move any wires or any breakers. And just for instance, up here there's a mess of wires up here. Your electrician may have to, if everything is cluttered the same here as it would be here, the electrician may have to move some wires, so it may take a little longer for the installation process, but for the most part, as you can see, I have the hole punched, and now I will install a unit.
Okay.
And here is the unit. What consists of the unit? You have, of course, your unit here. You have your instructions, which, please read the instructions, your warranty cards, and everything that are in here. So right now we'll put this box in out of the way. The instructions are quite simple. Here you can see that the breaker panel, as I was saying, is mounted horizontal because your main breaker is up here, all your branch breakers are below. But once again, if we turn it sideways, same configuration right here, okay? Instructions on the side, it says right here, find a breaker up to, but absolutely no larger than a 20 amp double pole breaker in the panel. If necessary, locate this breaker nearest the main breaker as possible. Left or right side is acceptable. Here, left or right, here would be top or bottom. Okay? So, also here we say, install clean bolt unit, keeping the leads as short as possible for maximum results. Okay, a chase nipple is provided. Electrician may need to punch a 3/4 inch hole, which I just did, okay, to accept the unit. And of course, should there be any questions, we do have a 1-800 number for the electrician to call should he have any problems. So I'll just put this away for a second. So here we go. So I will remove the chase nipple, put it in my teeth here, and introduce the wires. So far, very simple. We'll connect the unit with the chase nipple. And this is where it kind of gets a little bit tricky. Get your fingers in there. Now sometimes electricians are installing these. They might have, they install enough of these. They might want to get themselves and configure themselves a special wrench to tighten it up. What I'm going to use is my channel locks, and there goes a screwdriver. And just work the chase nipple so that it is tight with the system. The chase nipple is not there for any bonding purposes as far as the grounding goes. It is there basically to mechanically affix the clean bolt unit to the panel. So now we are tight. The ground, which actually grounds the box unit, okay, should and must be installed onto the ground bar here. Using wire strippers would be the best. That way the wires will not become scored. Using a knife to cut the wires can score the conductors, therefore causing unwanted RFI in the system. So the ground is connected. Now we will connect the neutral, which once again we want to keep as short as possible. There may be some panels, some manufacturers, most of them today have the neutral bar down each side to keep the conductors, be able to keep the conductors shorter should conductors become short. Older panels could end up having the neutral bar at the end here. In this situation here, if that were the fact, we would have to add a piece of number 10 T90 stranded wire to this to be able to accomplish that, which is still quite fine. But being that this here is a panel which has a neutral bar down each side, we can keep the neutral conductor as short as possible, and do not kink the wires. Just give them a gradual curve to them so that you don't kink them, and there we have the neutral conductor installed. Now I've chosen this breaker here, this double pole 15. It's a non-crucial load, happens to be 2 lighting loads. Okay, so should in a catastrophic event the clean volt unit contain the anomaly to the panel, when it self-destructs, it could kick out this breaker, or will kick out this breaker, and also your main breaker could trip out as well, depending on the severity of the lightning strike or sustained overvoltage coming into the building. But the unit will contain that strike to the panel. It will not reach out into your home. So I will turn off this breaker, and I will just measure my leads, cut them so that both of them are exactly the same. Strip them off, and under electrical codes, it is permissible to put 2 wires under the 1 lug in a breaker. So now, to recap, we have installed and introduced the clean volt unit to the panel. We've connected our ground. We've connected our neutral, which we try and keep as short as possible, and our power leads, which we try and keep as short as possible. The unit is now ready to be switched online, which I will do right now. This home here is now protected by clean volt. Nothing will escape past the panel coming into the building. In a severe lightning strike or sustained overvoltage, that is why it is so imperative to keep the leads as short as possible. With the longest leads, a lightning strike could travel out from the panel 36 inches. So therefore, in this case here, the only thing that's within 36 inches is this receptacle here, but it has a control transformer which supplies power to a alarm system in the house. Now with these 6-inch leads, these are actually less than 6-inch leads, the travel is 18 inches. So therefore, 18 inches of wire, this transformer is effectively protected. Lightning strike won't even reach this transformer. That's why it is so imperative to keep the leads as short as possible. Also, for maximum cleaning of your power, for the bidirectional, all the anomalies coming back, you want those leads as short as possible for the reaction time to be able to really see the anomalies coming along. Should you have to use the 18-inch leads, clean volt is still just as effective in the catastrophic events. It's just that the travel will be a little further, but the cleaning power will be slightly reduced. Other than that, I hope that this tape here helps everyone in understanding about clean volt, its basic installation. And beyond that, have a great day. Thank you very much.